Here we go again. The herd, reaction, videos, and Jason McIntyre. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of The Lead. Your host, as always, Harley Dugan. We are gathered here today to react to what Jason McIntyre, what the herd, Colin Cowherd, what they got to say about the Houston Texans. There's a lot of opinions, obviously, and we need to know as much information as possible. I like to see what the national media thinks about the Texans, especially right after a huge move that Nick Caserio made on day one, trading all the way up to 3 to get Will Anderson, grabbing CJ Stroud when there was a litany of rumors, no rumors going around that the Houston Texans will or will not take a quarterback and will or will not trade up or will not trade back. Everything was crazy. So let's see what they got to say. Let's see what Jason McIntyre, this bozo, has to say about the Houston Texans. Here we go.
Next year, a first-round pick, and that drove you crazy.
Right. So the Texans do have 2 first-round picks, one from Cleveland for Watson, which will be like in the 12 to 15, 17 range. But they gave up their own pick to move up for an edge rusher. That is unheard of in draft history. Some of these analytics guys, they have draft calculators and they calculate the trade. This Houston-Arizona deal could go down as one of the worst all-time because Will Anderson now has to perform like a Hall of Famer to justify giving up a first-round pick next year. Here's the big concern. If the Texans stink, and both you and I think 5, 6, 7 win team.
I think they're a 6 to a 7 win team.
They're probably going to have one of the 3 or 4 lowest win totals in the league. We would agree on that.
I'm not sure their division's awful.
Fine. Bottom 5 win total. Give me that.
Not really.
Fine. Bottom 6 win total. Bottom line, Vegas is not going to respect this team. They got a rookie quarterback, a ton of holes everywhere. There's a scenario where the Arizona Cardinals are the worst team, have the number 1 pick, and Houston's like 3rd worst, and the Cardinals are able to then get Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. from Ohio State with the Houston Texans.
Okay.
Whoa.
Remember.
Wait a minute. First of all, if the Houston Texans are the 3rd worst team after the improvements that they have made this offseason, then, man, Nick Caserio might be shown the door, okay, even with the draft that he just made. There's no way, though. I can't see the Texans being the 3rd worst team. The only way is obviously injuries, which as of right now, you ain't got much. So McIntyre definitely sounds like someone that needs to get educated about the Houston Texans. But this is what you get out of national media. This is what you get. Okay, you get national media guys only know the big cities and what's going on in those teams of sports. Los Angeles, New York, Boston, even though we're a big market city, but we don't get the respect we're going to deserve. And plus, it's the Houston Texans. They have been bad for quite some time. So I understand his uneducated response about the Houston Texans trading up. Look, when you really think about it, they had to trade up in order to get CJ Stroud, Will Anderson. Think of it as a package deal. You've heard multiple people say this before. Storm said it immediately at the draft party. I was standing right next to him and Ruben. He said it. Hey, they essentially traded to get CJ Stroud because the Tennessee Titans were banging on the door to get him. If you swap those picks and you grabbed Will Anderson at 2, now the price goes even higher for CJ Stroud, and the ridicule, the scrutiny behind it wouldn't be any. Because now everyone's like, oh, look, the Texans got their star franchise quarterback. It's worth giving up these valuable picks. Miss me with that, Jason McIntyre. There's no way. I just don't see them being the 3rd worst team in the NFL this year.
Get Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. from Ohio State with the Houston Texans.
Okay. Remember, Houston has Cleveland's pick. Cleveland plays in a significantly better division than Houston. I think Cleveland, I see them as a 7 or an 8 win team. I see Houston as a 5, 6, I'd say a 6 win team. So you're getting Cleveland. So instead of getting your pick, which I think would be 8, you get 12. You're not getting Caleb Williams with either one. This is not going to be the worst team in the league. And you're making a bet on C.J. Stroud. You're getting out of the Caleb sweepstakes. I mean, you're going to play him. You're not going to draft C.J. Stroud, never play him, and then draft Drake May or Caleb Williams. You made a bet to go with C.J. Stroud, who, by the way, is the second best quarterback in this draft. We know of these 4, 5, 6 top quarterbacks, at least 2 are going to make it.
Do you think Stroud starts week 1?
Yes.
Over Davis Mills, who's been...
Yes. Okay. And so you're out of the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. So even if you're bad and you have the 7th or 8th pick, you're not nobody is trading out of Caleb Williams.
No.
The bad teams all have bad quarterback. If you have a chance to get Caleb, even if you had like a good quarterback, you would draft Caleb and move your quarterback. I mean, that's how much people
I would
think
agree.
of it.
Arizona will move off Kyler Murray to take
I've
Caleb
got
Williams.
Cleveland's first-round pick, and this idea in the AFC, Deshaun Watson's what? The 9th, 8th, 9th, 10th best quarterback? That's not a playoff team to me. So that pick is going to be a top 12 to a top 13 pick. I'm protected.
So you don't think Houston's going to be that bad, which is why you're giving this up.
No, I don't. I think D'Amico Ryans the people I know in the league love him.
I would agree. Yeah.
I think they had a tremendous free agency period. I think they did very well last time. I think they got 2 of the top 10 players in the draft, and they got a bunch of picks left. So they're basically saying, we're going to get out of the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. That's okay. What they're saying is, we don't think we're a bottom 4 team in the league, and I don't either.
Yeah.
That division, the Colts, a bit of a mess. Titans, right now, they got all sorts of issues. So I think Houston's going to be a chippy 6-ish win team.
I know the Titans have some issues. 2 years ago, they were the number 1 seed in the AFC. I know they fell back a little bit last year. There's no way they're the worst team in the division. It's either Houston or Indy, right? I mean, Gardner Minshew, we can scoff at him all you want. He's considered a top 5 backup in the league, and he comes over with his offensive coordinator, so there is some continuity.
I watched Houston take the Chiefs, I think, to overtime last year.
Oh, come on.
They got some players.
One game.
Got some players.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what? Shout out to Colin Cowherd for throwing that Texan gospel on the national media, giving us some flowers, showcasing the moves that we have made this offseason and the necessary draft board that we have ended with. The Houston Texans at the end of the day should not be a bottom 5 team. They are banking on themselves to improve from last year. First-year head coach, usually that translates into results. There's a lot of first-year head coaches we saw that crept their way into the playoffs or crept their way into a 500 record. I have no problem in saying the Houston Texans should win 6 games, but I can definitely see the ceiling be a 9-win team. If everything goes right for you, of course, injuries always are dependent on that too. Jason McIntyre is a whole bozo. If he's trying to tell me the Colts with Gardner Minshew, little Minshew mania, little itty-bitty Minshew mania, let me tell you something, brother. Dude, that guy right there can eat a whole you-know-what, okay? If Anthony Richardson is their future, they drafted him at 4. Obviously, he's going to need some time to sit down, but with Shane Steichen's offense, everyone promising me that him and Anthony Richardson are going to be a problem. I want to see it. I need to see it to believe it. The Tennessee Titans, 2 years ago, they were in the AFC Championship game. Cares? I do not. Okay, the Tennessee Titans 2 years ago had A.J. Brown, and since they have not looked the same. The defense is solid. It's solid. Derrick Henry's gotten older, and we know how running backs are when they get older. A lot of tread on his tires. Ryan Tannehill is not the same player. The offensive line is not the same. They don't have the numerous weapons that they had, a.k.a. A.J. Brown, basically. They lost a key factor into helping Ryan Tannehill as a quarterback. He needs a perfect environment around him. Tennessee Titans are not perfect right now. I like Mike Vrabel. I've always had as for a head coach, but Tannehill is not the quarterback. And if he was, they would have skipped out on the Mayo man, on banana peel eating son of a gun, Will Levis. Okay. At the end of the day, the Houston Texans are not going to be the worst team in this division. And I see them, unrealistic expectations tell me I want to see them as a second seed, 7-8 win team. That's my somewhat unrealistic expectations. Overall, Jason McIntyre, as we all know, there's nothing new here. He is still a bozo. He is still uneducated human that tries to talk about other sports teams with no clue whatsoever. Stick to whatever sports team you grew up watching, buddy. And let me just see Colin Cowherd drop that gospel on the Houston Texans. Yeah. As always, guys, go Astros, go Rockets, go Texans. You have a blessed day.